Hello, everybody. This is Debo here of Debo's Movie Reviews, and today I'm going to review The Rise of Skywalker, starring Daisy Ridley as Rey, Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron, John Boyega as Finn, featuring Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, Ian McDermott as Palpatine, and last but not least, Carrie Fisher in her final performance as Leia, or say her final movie period, and Billy D. Williams as Lando. I gotta say, one kind of flaw with the sequels is how Lando only appeared in Episode 9 in the sequel timeline. That is, yet was absent in Force Awakens and Last Jedi. Because you'd think he'd be a pivotal role in the Resistance and all. Hell, he would have been at the same top echelon as old Leia was. Although, all I gotta say with the whole chemistry of Han and Leia was like they were good friars and good leaders, but they were terrible parents for basically just for not being there with Luke and Ben, should I say Kylo and all, and just letting and Luke was basically a terrible teacher, and I can see why in Book of Boba Fett why Grogu wanted to go back with Mando and didn't want to be a Jedi and all, because yeah, he was kind of smart. So because yeah, if he stayed with them, he would eventually been killed off by Kylo Ren too. And of course, with back to Rise of Skywalker, I'm just like, what kind of that was an epic, some kind of odd twist of how it was like two movies of Snoke, and yet all of a sudden Palpatine comes back in a secret location with the Knights of Ren, which uh, which I've which I might be I'm kind of a big Star Wars fan, but I've hadn't read too much into them, but I know they're like the Sith thing, and kind of contradictory to what Yoda said in Phantom Menace about how no more, no less. All we two they are, and the whole there can only be two, which has been between Clone Wars when they in the resurrection of Darth Maul and in Rebels with the showdown between Ezra Bridger and Darth Maul. Hell, I'm just like kind of like one thing to take away that how it kind of ruins one part of Return of the Jedi with of how after Anakin froze Palpatine out just straight down that crater and all, and I'm just like it makes you wonder how he was able to survive that all that and all, which you'd think back in the 80s was like no way, not even with all them force powers and all, and being the head Sith in charge of the dark side. Because yeah, ain't but hey, that's this explains a and then training Kylo Ren for the dark side under the moniker Snoke, to where Snoke was just a variation of him or something like that, and it was like just a real confusing aspect of that timeline. But like I say, at least with excellent storyline of how they discovered the existence of Palpatine, lead the final charge, and the whole story of excuse me, how they meet, how, how they met Lando at that desert festival, and you get that whole scene with Kylo Ren and Rey having their telepathic conversation, which is surprisingly of a odd force power, because Kylo Ren and Rey seems to be the only two that use that power. Kind of like with the whole cop out of Last Jedi with Luke being a force projection, just charging that one final battle with Kylo Ren, and I'm just like, yeah, that was kind of. But then again, Last Jedi was kind of a total cop out, though. It was getting on mixed emotion on that one. But it did fix. But Last Skywalker did fix where they went wrong, and with all that, with that cop almost did, sort of did anyway, till they did like that one scene in the with after Rey finds that knife with after meeting Kerry Russell's character who dressed like the Rocketeer and someone Dameron knew from his days as a spice runner, which of course spice is like the ultimate drug and all, and kind of like the galactic metaphor for like smugglers and all. Plus, of course, with C-3PO getting his mind erased by Babu Frick just to decode a secret message, and the whole. I gotta admit that was for a robot that was kind of a moving speech. But Anthony Daniels always knocked it out of the park with that movie, with them roles. Hell, like I said, for robots and droids who don't surprisingly don't have emotion programmed and all that was a moving speech to where he did the whole "one last look at my friends" line before Bobby Frick just had to do what he needed to do, and of course Rey and the gang go to that planet with the remnants of the Death Star, which were found by that knife, and which turned out to be a map. And then, of course, Rey finds that second or third triangle needed before Kylo Ren does, and then oof, and that whole scene, and which led to his sort of Kylo Ren's return to the good side, sort of, that is, and the whole after Rey just gets him with that lightsaber, and then another cop out just saves him and all, and then yeah, that was just a total cop out because he makes you wonder watching them other movies. Be like if Obi-Wan, makes you wonder, did Obi-Wan have that part of the power? And if he did, why didn't he save Qui-Gon or a few other friends of his in the prequels and all? like with a force projection, like he could have just eliminated the middleman and instead of just have Luke do his dirty work for him. But hey, we wouldn't had 9 epic movies if we didn't. 10 if you count the Clone Wars thing, because well, actually makes that 11 if you factor in Solo and Rogue One. But in Clone Wars movie was really just a 90-minute pilot of the series, but a better take on the timeline than the prequels were. Well, but then again, got to mention a lot of epic action scenes with it. With this one, like the escape and an encounter and the with the stormtroopers on the desert planet right after their first telepathic conversation with Kylo in the movie between Rey and Kylo, and then you got that one with, I mean, that desert chase. That talk about that was like some Serenity vibes right there. And yeah, I mean the Firefly one, but that's for another video. Hell, and then you got the old, yeah, the epic final showdown between the remaining of the Resistance. Prior to that, there was the whole deal where Rey felt guilt and all, and then tried to hide in the same planet Luke did while he was alive, until the Force Ghost of Luke tried to corrected himself and motivated her to keep on the fight after what she failed to do to him with him in the Last Jedi, and oof, talking about an epic scene like that, like with the aftermath for that, following the screen death of Leia, and of course you got that scene with Harrison Ford as a Force ghost and trying to say that Kylo Ren killing him wasn't his fault, but Palpatine's fault and the dark side and all kind of deal. But then again, yeah, back to Force Awakens, that was kind of still a total cop out, because I know Harrison Ford didn't want to keep on playing him and wanted him to die in Return of the Jedi, but seriously, Han could have died in battle instead of write him off as a deadbeat father, and that turned that help and all in the whole dark side. Skywalker going to the dark side when they could have just found someone. Whole timeline should have just been like someone completely new, and Rey be a Skywalker and all, and unlike at the end where she takes the moniker of Skywalker because she's too ashamed to be a Palpatine, and rightfully so. And then of course back to what I was about to say with the whole everybody just showing up at once to take on the Final Order, and how badass of an epic scene that was, kind of like some epic V for Vendetta vibes. And then of course the final showdown and the team up with Kylo and Rey that finally took on Palpatine, brought him down, and then that whole cop out of a kiss thing, which was even like had that relationship more like a Batman needed the Joker kind of deal. But overall, I'm about to give this about a 4 out of 5. Epic masterpiece and a fitting end to the series. All right, y'all. That's it. That'll do.